All right, let's dive into one of the coolest and, frankly, most important puzzles in AI right now. How do we give it a memory? And I don't mean just any old memory. I'm talking about a perfect, up-to-the-second memory of your specific world.
You've probably noticed this weird paradox, right? You can ask an AI to write a beautiful poem about, I don't know, a sunset over the ocean, and it'll do an amazing job. But then you ask it something that seems way simpler like, hey, can you summarize our Q3 sales report? And you get nothing. Crickets. What's the deal with that?
Well, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. At its core, that AI's knowledge is completely stuck. It's frozen in time, with absolutely no window into your private, real-time information.
So, that gets us to what we call AI's big memory problem. Think about models like ChatGPT. They're incredibly smart, but they're trained on a massive snapshot of the internet, a snapshot that has a hard cutoff date.
This means it has no idea what happened in the news yesterday. And more importantly for you, it has never, ever seen your internal company docs, your private emails, or your databases. There's a perfect analogy for this. Imagine the AI is a brilliant librarian who has read and memorized millions of books, but their entire library stopped getting new books in, say, 2022. On top of that, they're not even allowed into your company's private archives. So when you ask about your data, all they can do is make a highly educated and usually a very, very wrong guess.
So, how in the world do we fix this? How do we give our brilliant but outdated librarian a key to our private, up-to-the-minute library? Well, the answer is a really elegant technique called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or as everyone calls it, RAG.
In plain English, RAG is like a bridge. It connects the AI's powerful reasoning brain to an external knowledge base, like your knowledge base. So instead of just relying on its old, static memory, the AI first goes and retrieves the right documents from your data, and then it generates an answer based on that fresh, relevant info.
Now you might be thinking, wait, why not just retrain the AI on my data? And that's a great question. That process is called fine-tuning. But here's the thing, they do totally different jobs. Fine-tuning is all about changing the AI's style or behavior. It's slow, it's really expensive. RAG, on the other hand, is for injecting knowledge. It's instant, it's cheap, and this is a huge one. It can give you citations, so you know exactly where the AI got its answer from. No more black boxes.
So, how does this retrieval magic actually work? How does the AI know which documents to go and grab? Well, it all starts with a mind-bending idea, turning the meaning of our words into pure math.
You know how old search systems worked? They were all about keywords. If you searched for car maintenance, it would literally just look for those two words. If a super helpful document used the phrase automobile servicing instead, poof, you'd never find it. That's called the lexical gap, and this has been a massive headache for a long time.
The solution is this amazing concept called embeddings. Forget keywords. Embeddings capture the actual meaning. The best way to think about it is like a GPS coordinate for a piece of text. Every word, every sentence gets its own unique coordinate on this giant multidimensional map. And the cool part? Texts with similar meanings have coordinates that are super close to each other. And this is where it gets really, really wild. You can actually do math with these meaning coordinates. You've probably seen this classic example. You take the coordinate for king, you subtract the coordinate for man, and then you add the coordinate for woman. And what do you get? You land almost exactly on the coordinate for queen. It's incredible. The AI has learned the relationships between concepts all through mathematics.
Okay, so we've turned all of our documents into these numerical meaning coordinates. But where do we put them all? We can't just throw them into a spreadsheet. We need a special kind of library, an AI super library built for exactly this job. And I know what you're probably thinking. Why can't we just use a normal, everyday database? It's a totally fair question. The reason, in one word, is speed. Trying to find the closest coordinate to your question among millions or even billions of others, that's a task that would absolutely crush a normal database. It would take forever. Vector databases, though, are purpose-built for this one thing, ultra-fast similarity search. They use these clever algorithms to find the nearest neighbors in the blink of an eye.
And the difference in performance is just staggering. I mean, look at this. What would take a traditional database minutes, maybe even hours to do with a brute force search? A vector database does in milliseconds. It's not even a fair fight. This is the engine that makes real-time RAG actually possible.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces together now. We've got embeddings to turn meaning into math, and we've got vector databases to search through that math at lightning speed. When you combine those two things, you get a much, much smarter AI, one that is finally grounded in your reality.
The whole process really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, indexing. That's a one-time thing where all your documents get turned into embeddings and loaded into that vector database. Then, retrieval. When you ask a question, the system instantly zips through the database and finds the most relevant chunks of text. And finally, generation. The AI gets your question plus those relevant chunks of text you just found, and it uses that fresh context to write you a perfect, accurate, source-backed answer.
So what's the payoff for all this tech? Well, it's huge. We're talking about a 70 to 90% reduction in AI hallucinations. You know, when the AI just makes stuff up. That's because it's no longer guessing. It's basically reading directly from the source material you just handed it.
And let me be clear, this isn't some science fiction tech that's years away. It's happening right now. Over 70% of enterprises are already using RAG to make their AI systems more reliable, more accurate, and just plain more useful.
Ultimately, if you remember one thing, it's this. RAG transforms AI from a confident but often wrong guesser into a truly trustworthy partner. It takes the AI's incredible power to reason and grounds it in the solid foundation of your specific, up-to-date reality.
And that just leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. For so long, the big problem was that AI couldn't remember. Now, with RAG, it can have a perfect searchable memory of anything we want. So the new question is, what are we going to ask it to remember for us?